Hello, everybody. Welcome back.
Oh, hello.
Today we are going to be talking about something that it's a little bit different, as you probably can guess from the title. But yeah, it's something that I haven't seen anybody on the Pokemon community really talking about. Hopefully, by the time this video comes out, maybe people will talk about it by the time I actually get this video out there. But today we're going to be talking about something that I think is going to affect. It's going to affect PokeTubers, as they're called, Pokemon YouTubers, in a variety of different ways, and that is the new ruling from the FTC, the Federal Trade Commission, if you're not familiar, on COPPA, COPPA, the Children's Online Privacy and Protection Act, or something like that. First, to start off, what is COPPA, right? At a high level, just a description. COPPA is basically an act that was created in, I believe, the 90s. The purpose of it is to protect children's privacy and their personal information while they are online. And it really, for many years, it was all about what kind of data are you collecting on people under the age of 13. Parents have to give consent for the collection of that data, or many websites, which you're probably familiar with, have that thing where it's like, are you 13 or older? You have to be 13 or older to sign up. The reason that exists is because of COPPA. Why is this a thing happening right now? Well, you may have already seen this if you're a big YouTube consumer of videos. A lot of YouTubers are talking about this, but what happened, and I'm actually going to cut over to a different camera so you can sort of see what I'm looking at. This is what happened. This is not a news article. This is from the FTC's website, and you can find much more coverage on this. YouTube and Google, who is the parent company of YouTube, settled with the FTC for violating children's privacy laws to the tune of $170 million. Now, it's obviously a massive settlement, and the reason being is because, yes, YouTube has YouTube Kids, but we all know if you have kids or you know kids, they watch YouTube. They don't watch YouTube Kids only. They'll just go on to regular YouTube on the computer, on their phone, whatever. They'll just open up YouTube. I don't think many parents are necessarily that diligent with the specific version of YouTube that their kids are going on to. And because of that, because it's so obvious that kids are still using the regular version of YouTube, even though they're under the age of 13, it's so obvious, and Google was clearly aware of this, even though they were trying to get them to use YouTube Kids, that the FTC said, hey, you are serving ads to these kids. And in serving those ads, because they're targeted ads, they know what videos you have watched. They know where else on the web a certain ID might be going. So you are inadvertently collecting lots of data on children and then retargeting those children with ads. And this is all to say that it's not nefarious necessarily. I don't think Google or YouTube is saying we love to track kids. I'm sure their lawyers and they for a long time were like, I would love for all kids under the age of 13 to just use YouTube Kids. That would be their dream. But that's just not how people work, right? Kids go on to whatever website they want, whatever app they want, so long as the parents are not monitoring them. So anyways, that's really the heart of this, is that Google was collecting data on these kids for the purpose of advertising. And that breaks the COPPA rules. You're not supposed to do that, even though they didn't mean to. So that's sort of what went down in a big sense. But when the FTC came to speak about the settlement later on, they brought up some new points that I think have got the entire YouTube community really concerned. So I'm going to play a clip for you now. It's from a video by a guy named Chad Tronick. I'm going to put his link in the description. He's got an amazing video that sort of covers this all in depth. I'm not going to go so far in depth as to every aspect of it. Please watch that video if you want to know all the details. But I'm just going to play this first clip that he pulled from the FTC. It's just the fastest way for me to find this clip.
We have a variety of tools at our disposal to cull through those 23 million channels and in an expeditious way. So when we talk about aggressiveness, we are typically talking about civil penalties. Not only can we sue Google and YouTube for compliance with COPPA, but also individual channel owners and content creators.
This video is going to be very different.
So please check out Chadtronic's video. This guy right here, like flipped. Anyways, check out his video. He goes into so much depth about this. So I'm not going to belabor that though. Yeah, what I am going to talk about is sort of why this is new and why this is different. Prior to this, individual content creators on platforms like YouTube, Facebook, whatever, were not considered liable for the collection of data of these kids. They don't run the website. If you post a video on YouTube, you're not necessarily collecting the data on the kids. The data is being collected by Google to then serve ads that you profit from, but you're not collecting the data. This change, at least as he has stated it, the FTC commissioner, he said now that they're going to go after individual content creators, not just Google and YouTube. That's a massive change. And so the question is then, okay, well, who are they going to go after, right? Like, well, the answer to that, who they're going to go after, is people whose videos are at their discretion, not ours, that they believe are videos that appeal to kids. YouTube has a new setting that they just came out with, and it's rolling out, and I think it goes into strong effect on January 1st, but they have the option for people to mark videos as made for kids. Now you would think like, oh, I marked the video made for kids, YouTube knows, and boom, bada bing, we're perfect, right? The problem is when you mark something as made for kids, a whole slew of things changes as to how that video gets pushed out to people. A video marked made for kids has almost no monetization. It does not get recommended or show up in any sort of related searches. It doesn't get notifications to any of your subscribers or anyone that the video is live. Basically, the video can exist on your channel, but nobody will necessarily ever be able to find it easily. And more importantly, for most of these big content creators, you will not make any money off of that video either. Because in order to do all of those things, you have to collect data on who is viewing this video in order to retarget them with other videos or with ads. YouTube is rolling this out because they have to, as part of the settlement with COPPA. Now the question becomes, okay, well, I don't want my video not to get seen by anyone or not to make money. I'm just not going to mark it as made for kids. Let's not even get into whether or not your video is made for kids right now. If you do that and the FTC discovers that actually your video is very appealing to kids, we'll get into what makes something appealing. You can be fined $42,000 for each video. And it applies into the past as well, as far as we know. So if you're a channel with 1,000 videos and all of them are probably kid-friendly, at least, then that could be 1,000 videos times 42,000. It's a whole mess. You should not try to cheat the system. You will, if you get caught, not like those consequences. So then the question becomes, okay, well, made for kids, right? If I'm making a video, but I'm not making it for kids, then I'm fine. I don't have to mark it as made for kids. Well, now we get into the nuanced legal territories. Google is saying made for kids. The FTC does not necessarily specify made for kids. They simply care if it's a video that is going to be interesting and attractive to children under the age of 13, to the degree that you could easily, assume that a lot of kids might be watching that video. The point that's going on YouTube right now is a lot of videos definitely are made by adults. There are adults who enjoy watching them, but there also happen to be lots of kids who enjoy watching those videos too. I would not necessarily say those videos are made for kids, but they clearly reach a large audience of children. That's all that the FTC is going to care about. Is your video something that is going to entice a child to click on it and watch it? The question for the PokeTubers out there, right, is how is this going to affect all of us? Big, small channels, doesn't matter. Well, let's start with the probably most popular category of PokeTubers. Let's talk about unboxing channels. And I'm just going to play a clip of an unboxing channel right now. Just a random opening shot of Unlisted Leaf's video. You probably know who he is. If you don't, you'll see it for the first time. Honestly, I have nothing against Ando. He's great. I met him at the World Championships. His content is awesome. He's a bit of a hype man, but his content is great. But let's look at this and try to see, is this something that reasonably could be construed as made for kids or kid-friendly, so to speak?
Ladies and gentlemen, I hope everybody is sitting down and I hope everybody is just as excited as me because it's only once off this happens and this is going to be like the first time in like years I think we've done this. But we are unboxing the first ever edition of a brand new TCG. I know.
So let's just get into the aesthetic of this video real quick. You have vibrant colors all over the background, lots of animated Pokemon characters as plushies, drawings all over the background, a very vibrant personality. I think that's why he's so successful. And then he comes on with Pokemon product that is, by the Pokemon Company's own admission, a product made for children, and a game that they, generally speaking, would say that is a game made for children. Yes, they know adults play it, but broadly speaking, this is all made for kids type stuff. And if I was the FTC, I would look at this and I would say, I'm going to watch more, see what this is all about. And you could argue, no, plenty of adults like this. This isn't content for kids. But Ando himself, in earlier videos, says things like, ask your parents to do X, Y, and Z. Go ask your mom and dad that you want this for Christmas. He knows that a large portion of those 1 point however many million fans are kids under the age of 13. He's aware. And now he hasn't done anything wrong up to this point. He's not doing anything wrong. He's making perfectly fine videos that don't have any cursing, that don't have any negative imagery, etc. Like, if kids want to watch Ando on Unlisted Leaf, there's nothing wrong with that. To be frank, it's not about the content in terms of like, is it right or wrong for kids to see this? It's about the data collection associated with that content. And unfortunately, Ando, having a large audience of children, I think that type of unboxing channel is going to be very, very challenged with this new COPPA rule. Another YouTuber we're going to talk about, because we can't forget Mr. Leonhardt, is Lee Steinfeld, Leon. I think he goes by Lee, but Leonhardt's channel. So just start with this. Tell me if you think this would be very appealing to a kid.
What up, Hard Squad? I got a new Pokemon cards box, a premium collection box, Generations premium collection box, which includes a never-before-seen playmat, yeah, and the best thing from this entire box, there should be no Steam Siege and no Evolutions packs.
That's a good place to pause it. I agree with Leonard there. No Steam Siege, no Evolutions packs. Thank you, Pokemon Company. Anyways, again, you see lots of vibrant colors, plushies, animated characters all over the place. The word Pokemon trading card game, bright and bold behind him. I mean, look, kids are going to like this video. And again, in many of his videos, his fans, and he even admits that kids watch his videos. He gets letters from kids and their parents who say, like, I love watching your videos with my kid, right? Again, nothing wrong with the content itself. It's simply that because it's appealing to kids, there is data collection being done that affects children's online behavior. That's the main problem. And then you have, I haven't even pulled this up yet, so half second.
Guys! Oh my god. Guys, guess who just uploaded a video?
And then you've got Max Mofo.
Games. He hasn't posted in over a year. And on the end, Empoleon.
Big man penguin.
This is Max Mofo. He's another YouTube channel. Opens Pokemon cards, right? Clearly, you can tell there's a tonal difference in his video from Leonhardt and Unlisted Leaf. But the question will still be, does this video appeal to kids? Now, I don't know if Max Mofo will appeal to kids in the same ways that Unlisted Leaf. I would say that it's probably not as family friendly and approved by parents. But again, whether or not somebody is cursing in a video is not going to matter to the FTC. All that will matter is this video likely to be something that kids watch? And I would guess that Max Mofo is going to fall into that camp of yes. I would think that any unboxing-centric channel is going to struggle really hard under these new restrictions, if they really come to pass as they've outlined. Because you're opening a children's card game product on a channel, and they feature lots of animated characters as part of the cards. Like, it's clearly meant for kids, the object. And kids like watching unboxing channels. That's not a surprise. Adults like it too, but I think unboxers are going to have a very hard time under this new rule. I think the next thing that we can sort of briefly touch on is things like Pokemon Sword and Shield gaming. I think gaming content in general is a tough one, right? Again, it's going to come down to like a potential ruling eventually. That might be okay, these gaming videos, because Pokemon gaming videos, especially ones that are like Nuzlocke runs, I don't think appeal to as many kids as something like Fortnite does, as something like Minecraft, Roblox. There's a lot of other games out there that I think are going to be much more likely to have a child-centric audience than Sword and Shield Let's Plays. That's just my guess. I don't know if the FTC is going to be as fine-tooth combed about specific games, or if it's going to be, if your game has lots of blood and gore and is rated MA or T for teen, then that's fine. Anything that's rated under T for teen potentially appeals to kids, and thus it's a no-go. That might simply be how they find. So gameplay videos could also be a problem. But that's a huge thing for YouTube beyond just Pokemon. The next area I want to talk about is Pokemon trading card game online gameplay. So these are things like, Andrew Mahone with Tricky Gem, Pablo with Tablemon, Zapdos TCG, things like Yellow Swallow. Like, there's a bunch of really awesome Azul, right? All these awesome TCG players have a whole other separate like income stream from the YouTube channels where they create videos, where they create videos playing Pokemon the Trading Card Game online, because it's simply easier to show off a new deck in that format. Now, again, this is a game featuring, children's card game products. It's digital, but this is one where I'm like, I don't know. This is a maybe. It may be that most of these channels are still relatively small enough that the FTC doesn't really care. They're not going to find them and do anything about them. So, but I think PTCGO gameplay could be affected by this, especially if YouTube's algorithm decides to kick in and start marking things individually and not giving people the chance to mark it as not for kids. If that happens, because YouTube is going to be uber conservative in this respect, then you might find that most PokeTubers are going to switch to IRL style gameplay, meaning two people sitting at a table across from each other with their real physical cards or proxies playing the game, rather than playing the PTCGO version of the game for their YouTube channels. I think that if you have the right setup, Tricky Jim does this. It's great. Rare Candy does this a lot. Like, you can do it and it looks good. It's just not as clear for a viewer, like exactly what cards you're using. But yeah, overall, I would say that might be the shift that PokeTubers have to make who do that kind of content. And then finally, we have this last little bit, which is what I'm calling like analysis videos, right? Analysis of the meta. Think of PTCG Radio. Some of the videos that I do where I talk about the meta, show things on screen. I think those things are going to be perfectly fine. Those are not made for kids. I don't think they can be any way construed as made for kids. They don't fit into any of these categories, right? And you're clearly talking about a competitive game at a master's level, right? Like, yes, a senior or a junior can watch the video and learn a lot about the game, but you're talking to an adult audience about how to play this game at the highest level possible to compete at world, at regionals, at internationals. Clearly, this is content that is made for and geared towards adults. I think that type of content is going to be perfectly fine. So, yeah. But I haven't really seen many YouTubers, many Pokemon folks talking about this specifically. So, basically, the question is, how can we adjust as a community, right? I think the first thing that you can do with any of the channels and creators / players that you really like, if they are creating content, and this is a call out to any of those people as well, get a Patreon. Seriously, get a Patreon. Many of you already have it. Some of you might not or may not spend enough time on it. Get a Patreon, set it up. And for the viewers, support them on Patreon because they might still keep creating this content, simply mark it as made for kids and just not get ad revenue on it, which would suck for them because their channel will also stop growing because of that. But if they do that, if they make a Patreon, then you can at least support them at $1 a month. That's all you really need to give. Like, in terms of the amount of ad revenue, because I work in advertising, that a channel makes off of one person who watches 4 to 8 videos a month, $1 is going to be probably more than they were making off of you from ad revenue before anyways. So just giving them $1 a month is going to be way more than you as a viewer were going to give them from ad revenue, and it's more sustainable in the long run because it's not based on some algorithm. Yeah, and to that point, I'm actually going to be moving all of my unboxing videos to unlisted. Any new unboxing videos that I come out with are not going to be up on my channel publicly. There's just no point. If it's not going to be discoverable, I don't even make ad revenue. My channel isn't that big. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a tier on Patreon for $1 that lets you have access to all of my unboxing videos. And I will then post them on there when they come out onto Patreon. And then I will post them like a day or two later on Twitter. I'll just share the link out to the unlisted video for anybody else that wants to watch the video. The reason I'm doing that is so that I can give people that are supporting me for just $1, or maybe more if you want, but people that are supporting me for $1 and want to see if they can grab a code or two from the unboxing videos, yeah, go for it. You'll be first in line, you'll see it first, and good luck to you. No guarantees, but good luck to you there. And everybody else, you can just follow me on Twitter. I'm going to post those links in the doobly-doo description. So that is one thing I'm going to do. That's how I'm going to adjust. I think the other thing that I think a lot of PokeTubers are going to have to start doing is diversifying their content. And a lot of them do this already, but streaming, right? I don't know what the long-term effect of this is going to be for sites like Twitch or Mixer or wherever, but probably Twitch. I think that unboxings and PTCGO, if it starts to get affected by the same rules in the algorithm from YouTube, that might have to all be something that's done live streamed and not uploaded separately. So to that end, if a creator you like streams often, you can certainly go follow them on Twitch or whatever streaming platform they're on, and then try to tune in whenever they are live. Obviously, you'll miss some things. Twitch does have video on demand. I think that this ruling will probably come to Amazon at some point too, and Amazon will have to adjust their video on demand because kids watch Twitch. And Mixer is going to have a real problem with this because Mixer is built into Xbox, and I know tons of kids watch Mixer through Xbox. So video on demand may also eventually go away for a lot of these platforms. But, and then finally, the last thing that you can do is FTC is still allowing for comments from the public all the way up until, I believe, December 7th. So you can go to the FTC's website, leave a comment telling them why you think this is a bad idea, maybe why it's a good idea. It's entirely up to you. Leave comments, leave your constructive criticism, and let them know, because ultimately they will do whatever is right by the kids of the United States. but they don't want to ruin the opportunity of millions of different creators to make a living on these platforms. That's not their goal. But they are trying to put their foot down on an issue that's been very problematic for them for the last decade. This has been a very, very long video. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments as well. Definitely check out Chadtronic and some of the other links that I have in the description to learn more about it yourself. And yeah, if you like this kind of video, it's not normal for me, so I have other videos though. You can check those out and subscribe. But yeah, thank you so much if you made it this far. And I will catch you in a later video. Carpe awesome.